So in this tutorial we will discuss about compare functionality which pandas provide to compare the different data frames. So let's get started. So here this is data frame.compare, and it has these parameters. One is other, which will be some data frame, and this first data frame will also be a data frame that we want to compare with this data frame. So this is the data set that we have, in which we have column 1, column 2, column 3, and it looks like this. So let's get started with that. So how compare functionality? So basically compare functionality provides a way to compare two data frame objects and generate a data frame highlighting the differences between them. This can be particularly useful when you have two data sets and want to identify discrepancies or changes between them. So this is the data frame that we have called df, and let's make a copy of it. So we call it df2. This is df.copy, and in this, so okay, we have to run this also here, and then so we will first compare these two. This is just a copy of data frame df, and we will compare first these df and df2 and see what compare functionality of pandas does with this. So if I compare these two, df dot compare df2, so let's see how the output will look like, and it is not giving any output. So it is kind of there is no data frame that is coming as output for this particular code, because this df and df2 are exactly same. So there is no difference in the values of df and df2. This df2 is exactly the copy of df data frame. That means there is no discrepancy, both are completely equal. So let's put some discrepancy, or we can say let's change few values of df2. So for that I'm using this. So at 0th position in, I'll say, column 1, I want to put C. So this is column 1, we have A here at 0th index, and here I'm using this, I'm changing 0th index of column 1 from A to C. And similarly I can make one more change, which is let's make on index 2 and with column 3, and this time I want to put 4. So there is, so in index 2, which is this here, and column 3, so this 3 will change to 4. And let's run this, and now let's see how our df2 looks like. So df2 has this change. This first entry becomes C, and this becomes 4. Previously it was 3 here and A here. Now let's compare these two data frames and see how the result will be. Now we see there is some output given by this line of code, which previously was null. So here the column 1 and column 3 mentioned at the top, because in column 1 and column 3 we have changed something, right? Here in column 1 and column 3 we have done some changes. That's why this column 1 and column 3 gets mentioned here, and this self is representing this data frame df, the first one, and this other is representing this df2. So in self at index 0, since index 0 has some changes and index 2 has some changes, so that's why index 0 and index 2 are there. And at index 0 the df has value A, right? So that's why this A, and df2 has value C, so that's why the C is here in the other column inside column 1. Similarly for column 3, self has none and other has none, because at index 0 there is no change in column 3, because this so this 1 and 1 are same for df2 also and df1 also and df also. So first, if you notice at 0th index, column 2 column 3 has 1 and 1, and in df2 also column 2 and column 3 has 1 and 1. So it is saying none, because it means that there is no change that happened at this place. So wherever the change will be, that value will be shown, and if there is no change, the value will not be shown, or it will be none. So at index 2, so there are no other index other than 0 and 2, because only these two indexes we have some change, and that is represented here in this data frame by self and other. So this is how we can actually see if there are some changes. And so this is one way of doing. So there is one more functionality, which is align axis. So align axis is equal to 1. So this by default it will be a 1, but if we change it to 0, it will convert or flip this table from this way to horizontally way. So let's see how this will how the output will be. So I'm using compare df2, everything same, and I'm just putting align axis equals to 0. So here exactly same thing, it just rows becomes columns and columns become rows. So other than that, everything is same. Column 1 and column 3 has changes, so they are visible, and self represent df and other represent df2. So let's do some more changes, and this time we will change few things in column 3 also. So this time we will say df2 dot loc, and we will put, for example, we can put index 2 is keep the index same, and we will say column 3, and the value will be, so column 2, because column 2 has no value. So this time we'll change some value in column 2, and we can say some 100. Now this time, so my df2 has this 100, and now let's compare df2. Let's apply compare again and see how the result is. So this time we are getting 3 columns, because in column 1 also few changes happened, and similarly in column 2 few changes happened, and column 3 also. So self again representing df, which is saying that in df it was 3, but in df2 at the same position it changes to 100. So that change is there. So apart from that, we can so this keep equal false means wherever things are equal, I don't want, if the things are equal, I don't want to keep that entry. For example, here index 3 and 4 were so at index 3 and 4 there were no changes. So when the output of this line came, so there were no entries of index 3 and 4. There is only 0 and 2 at these indices it was showing, because there were changes at these indices only. So that is it about the compare functionality of pandas. So it is very useful if there is some discrepancy that is uh, in the data frame, and you can simply use this compare functionality to see whether some changes happened in other data frame or not. So we can end the session here. Thank you.